walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. From town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
All right. How's everybody doing on this Wednesday night? We're halfway through the week. My name is 12 Gauge. Welcome to my channel. I'm all tripping out because this has some new stuff that I was looking at earlier, and it, instead of bringing you up on panel, it has you at the bottom of the panel. So I'm looking at two of me, and I was like, okay, I'm talking, but I see myself at the bottom of the screen. It's really like it's tripping me out. Hey, Kim, how are you and Carlo doing? Leslie and Billy, Rondi Potter, how are you doing? Michelle, thank you for being here so much. You know, I know that they just finished a live a while ago. Daniel just finished a live with Jen, Coffin Dapper, and they've been talking about this stuff. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. I just read these. I read these this morning, and I was like, you know what? I want to talk about this tonight. I might be way off because my document reading is not the best, but you know what? I'm going to throw my hat in the ring anyways. At least I won't be speculating. I'll be just trying to do the best I can. If you're lurking, come on in the chat. We can have a nice chat with as many people as possible. You don't have to be on our side. We can agree to disagree. And that's the beautiful thing about this. You know, It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Speaking of Daniel, how you doing, bro? Great live you had a while ago. I had to leave. I had to go and work out, workout calls. So, like I said, I'm going to do my best to interpret this document, and um, it's been spoken on many times, but I thought it was interesting because some of it toward the bottom. Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. It says case number CR01243165, motion in limine number 7, witness identification by bushy eyebrows. State of Idaho versus Brian C. Koberger. We know that. What is this? Oh, it's a redaction. It says, comes now Brian C. Koberger by and through his attorneys of record and pursuant of the Idaho rules of evidence, move this honorable court for an order in limine excluding any evidence referring bushy eyebrows. More specifically, the defense assert the rules 403, 601, 602 of the Idaho rules of evidence bar witness blank hereafter DM. So I would say Dylan Mortensen right here from using the word bushy eyebrows or identifying Mr. Koberger in that manner. So, as we all know, on the night of November 13, 2022, Dylan was one of the witnesses that was left alive, and she was able to identify an individual a little taller than herself, muscular but not skinny, or skinny and muscular, skinny with a muscular build, I think. Excuse me, I'm still kind of zooming from my workout, so I need to calm down a minute. But anyways, she identified this individual, and he was supposedly dressed in black, all in black. Um, the interesting part that I saw about this is later on when it gets toward the bottom. I thought that was very intriguing. It said the issue of witnesses' identification is a critical one in a trial that is subject to much litigation. That is because the reliability of witness identification is the linchpin in determining the admissibility of identification information. And this basically gives you, like I said in other cases or other documents, it gives you the law the case law that they're asking to be put into the document to give kind of credence to what they're asking for. So that's all this is. State versus Hostington, and it goes along, and I'm not going to read all that. It says, in this case, the description provided by DM is unreliable and should be excluded. Although she had never identified Mr. Koberger, testimony by DM from the witness stand describing bushy eyebrows while Mr. Koberger sits as the accused at trial will be damning as her pointing to him and saying, he is the man that did this. Well, let me ask you, chat, how many of trials have y'all watched? I mean, honestly, on TV, real trials on court TV, things like that. How many have y'all watched? And in all these trials, or most of them anyways, have you ever seen the lawyer ask, at this time, do you see the accused in the courtroom? And then what happens? Can you please point him out? And what do? There he is right there, Your Honor. Or they don't even say that. They just point. So this seems very weird to me that they would even try to do this. But like we've been saying, the defense will do just about anything to keep their client from the firing squad. And that's understandable. I mean, that's her job, I'm not knocking her for doing her job. But, some of this stuff is a little intriguing to me. You know what I mean? Mr. Caterpillar's dead, Your Honor. That's hilarious. The comment of the night right here. Hi, Joanne. How you doing? Or Joni? Joni? Okay. When considering whether identification by a witness is reliable, the Idaho Supreme Court has applied the Mason-Brigger's balance test, which looks at the opportunity of the witness to view the criminal at the time of the crime, and we know that she was able to do that, even if very briefly. The witness' degree of attention, well, we've been told that, later on in this document, you're going to see her degree of attention may have not been there the whole time, but at various points, her degree of attention was there. The accuracy of the witness' prior description of the criminal, well, the first time that they asked her, she gave the general description. What went after the general description, in my opinion, would be like it's not relative to this level of document. The level of certainty demonstrated at the identification. Of course, she said she wasn't very certain that, you know, she saw much more than what she's going to say later on. The length of time between the crime and the identification. Well, at that point, when she was identifying him, I'm sure she didn't know that a crime had just been committed. Let me know if I'm off here somewhere. You know what I mean? Um, so this next part is basically just giving you another case law, and it's telling you about the Mason-Biggers balancing test, and it's applied to the facts of this case. The reliability of the witness identification is non-existent, based on the fact that she only gave the most basic identification. She really didn't say much more than what we heard in the PCA. DM is the only person alive who has known to see the intruder. She only saw the intruder briefly. Her recollection or lack thereof is filled with uncertainty, fuzziness, the influence of alcohol, dreaming, and sleepiness. She did not see the intruder well enough to describe him to a composite artist. After Mr. Koberger was arrested, she did not recognize him from a photo. Well, as we've all said before, it's very hard to identify somebody when that much is covered. You get what I'm saying? That's all you're going to see is the bushy eyebrows. And maybe, as she said in passing later on, she saw an eyebrow, a bushy eyebrow. Wouldn't that be something that the bushy eyebrow is what's going to be the ultimate conviction point? The relevant facts, bushy eyebrows. Okay. These are the interviews on November 13, 2022. It says November 13, 2022. DM was inside the house when the murders occurred and saw a figure dressed in black, here and there, intruder. When she peeked out her bedroom door around 4 a.m., shortly after seeing the intruder, she went downstairs to Bethany Funk's room. The two girls fell asleep. Roughly 8 hours later, a 911 call was made from Bethany Funk phone at 11:56. More than 8 hours after seeing the intruder, DM was interviewed by law enforcement at the scene and at the police department. I'm gonna say something that I was thinking of earlier because you know how I am. I spit my thoughts faster than I stop to think of them. And this is something that I thought of earlier because, as you all know, I had trouble with alcohol early on in my life. And I can remember many times waking up or being woken up by some kind of altercation, my friends fighting other people, coming in and yelling at me to come help, whatever it might be. At that point, I can get where she's saying she was kind of fuzzy, where she wasn't all there, but you're still coherent enough that you can see things, you can hear things. You might not be totally awake, but being in a drunken frame of mindset, you're still capable more often than not to know what it is that's going on. She did not say that she was almost at alcohol poisoning level, did she? Did she say that I was passed out for days and then woke up and then couldn't remember nothing? No, she didn't. She said that she had been sleeping for hours and she woke up and she felt that she didn't realize if it was a dream or if it was real. So I cut her some slack on this because, like I said, when I was younger and I used to party my ass off and I used to drink a lot. I'm not talking about just lightly drinking. I drank to the point of alcoholism. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to brag there, but, I'm just trying to put that in there for reference point. No other things. So the fact that this young lady got home between 1:15 and 1:30, and we're going to see that later on, how much did she drink? Did she have something put in her drink that makes her so drowsy? Did she take something with the alcohol? Did she take another downer? Did she take another sedative? Did she take something that gave her that point of reference that you're talking about that we're going to talk about right now? Okay, DM was interviewed by law enforcement at the scene and at the police department. It was confusing to DM that the intruder looked at her but did not come towards her or say anything. And this is my own thoughts right here, okay? So don't take this and run with it. It's my own thought. The other girls were smaller in stature. You're trying to get out of that house as quickly as possible. You see somebody in the doorway, but you see them from the side. You don't know if it's a dude. I'm not trying to say Dylan looks like a dude, but she's tall and she's bigger. So, maybe he thought, oh my God, there's another guy. I need to just walk on out of here as quickly as I can. You know what I mean? So the fact that he didn't say anything to her, he didn't talk to her, is really not that big of a deal in my opinion, I don't think. What do y'all think? Okay, when describing the intruder to Officer Nunez at the scene, she described the height, the build, and clothing of the intruder. And that's more than most people can describe. Have you ever been in an automobile accident and then, you're asked as a witness to describe what you saw? You get 4 people describing this automobile accident, you're going to get 4 different stories. So all this stuff is it's foolish in my opinion, but you know what? She has to do it. Her description did not mention eyebrows. Okay. But she did mention the height, the build, and the clothing of the intruder. So the fact that she didn't mention eyebrows at that point, in my opinion, is irrelevant. When she called Bethany before going downstairs to Bethany's room, DM said that she was kind of in and out of it. I was really tired. Later, when she was interviewed at the police department, Detective Mowry inquired about facial features and asked DM if she knew what color the intruder's eyebrows were. Okay, so what they're saying is Mowry gave her a piece of evidence right there, eyebrows. Okay, so that's what they're basically wanting to throw this out for, is because they're saying that Mowry was giving her or coaxing her with information that she didn't have. She did not know the color of the intruder's eyes or eyebrows. Everything was kind of blurry. Like I don't fully remember it. During the Mowry interview, DM again mentioned that she was in and out of it because she was so tired. Anybody can be in and out of it. You don't have to be intoxicated. If you've ever worked long hours and not really slept a lot in between those, let's remember this girl was a college student. She had a full social schedule. It seemed like they were doing something every day of the week, right? So the fact that she was tired on a Saturday night after partying going into Sunday isn't that far fetched. It really isn't. I don't fully remember it. During the Maori interview, DM again mentioned that she was in and out of it because she was so tired. Law enforcement took pictures of DM's room on November 13, 2022 and November 19, 2022. On the walls in her room were many pictures of eyes with prominent eyebrows, many of which she had drawn. Some of the eyebrows are heavy, voluminous, puffy, or perhaps subjectively bushy. DM's room, which we're talking about, according to Detective Lake, he found artwork of human figures with an emphasis around the eyes and eyebrows were pinned to corkboards. DM's room is where they're suggesting all this is at. So she has these drawings in her room. She's trying to remember. I know Dylan's not a man, but I'm saying he's trying to get out of there. He's trying to, he's not wanting to take as much time, you know. So he bolted on by there. On November 17, 2022, 4 days later, DM was interviewed by Detective Gooch and indicated that she was really asleep and probably very drunk when she woke up around 4 a.m. on November 13, 2022. I think it's awesome that she could remember as much sounds as she heard. So that tells you that even though she was in and out of it, she still recalls what she heard. That's going to set a preference in the jury. It really is. Because she can hear all this stuff in the house, then she's capable of remembering what he looks like. If she can remember hearing somebody's here, it's okay. I'm going to help you. Crying, whimpering. All these things. She heard this. So she heard it. So she might have been in and out of consciousness, but she still heard it. And she still verbalized it. Throughout the interview, DM expressed uncertainty about what she heard and saw and did not know if it was real or if it was a dream or her mind playing with her. It just doesn't make sense. Described the intruder and told Detective Gooch that she recalls seeing his eyebrows, his bushy eyebrows, but she did not recall the color of his eyebrows. She did not remember the eyes or the mouth, just the eyebrows. When she saw the intruder, she thought that the intruder was about 3 feet away from her. That could be off since she was still a little bit drunk. She did not think that she could remember enough to give composite for a composite artist. She could just recall the bushy eyebrows, but not the shape or color of them. In this interview, Detective Gooch asked if DM had anxiety, which led to DM stating that she had a lot of lucid dreams of being kidnapped or chased. She indicated that she watched Criminal Minds and fell asleep to crime podcasts. These lucid dreams began in high school. Which, I agree with that. You know what's silly? And you're probably going to laugh or you're probably going to even agree. After doing these lives, and especially the longer ones, okay? I read about true crime. I read about criminal law. I read about criminal cases. I do all this stuff all day long, right? And at nighttime, I've woken myself up talking as if I'm live. I'm answering questions, either laughing at something or I'm talking out loud. I don't dream that much, but when I do dream, I have very weird dreams about criminal justice stuff because it's always around me. So think about someone who falls asleep to a criminal or a true crime podcast. Your unconscious mind is not going to realize whether this is real or whether this is you just hearing it. You get what I'm saying? Do that tonight after we get off here. Pick you a nice little podcast. Go listen to Annie Elise or Kimberlea or any of those that do an awesome job telling the story. You know, and you tell me if you're not going to dream about what they're talking about, especially if it's a very descriptive type of case. Now, if it just like we're going over it right now, or we have a guest on, it's totally different. But if you're listening to true crime podcasts where they're telling you the story of what happened and how it happened, see, let me know next time I go live exactly what happened to you. And nothing might happen, but in hers, she was saying she started having these dreams in high school. So all these girls obviously were into true crime. I mean, this tells you that she started doing this when she was in high school. So that was probably 2 years before this. On December 1st, 2022, half a month later, DM was interviewed again and described the intruder. She did not see his eyes, but she saw one eyebrow or two. But it was just like this bushy eyebrow. That eyebrow was just out there. What's up, Dylan? How's it going? I'm out of here. Just killed your friends. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I mean, that one bushy eyebrow, just, I could just see like an eyebrow, this bushy eyebrow. Just kept looking at me. She did not remember the color or the shape of the eyebrow. She just remembered it being bushy. And wouldn't a girl or woman be more prevalent to know whether an eyebrow was bushy or not? You women in the chat, you tell me. Are you not more inclined to know what a bushy eyebrow is? Or to have a little bushy mustache or, bushy armpits or whatever? You're more inclined to know what bushy is, right? And that's not a statement that many guys use, correct? Let me know what you think. Do y'all know what a bushy piece of body hair looks like, right? Of course you do. You're not going to mistake it for a thin eyebrow. And if you remember his mugshot, you're welcome, Bullets. You're welcome. I wasn't being dirtier. I could have been dirtier than that, but anyways. No, I'm not. No, I'm not, Leslie. But think about that. When his mugshot was released to the police, he did have bushy eyebrows. They could say what they want. They're not bushy now. Well, I wonder why they're not bushy now. You're going to go before people and cameras, and you don't want them bad boys to be like that. You don't want them like that. Throughout the interview, DM indicated that she had always had really bad dreams, lucid dreams, and scary dreams. That's interesting. I wonder if she has had history to something else going on with her. She did not know, and this part right here, I mean, this just throws up my therapist kind of mindset here. A lot of people that have ever had any kind of SA or any molestation or anything like that, or if there's ever been any family abuse in the home where most of the fights happen at night and you're a kid and you hear all this stuff, anything that you're so used to hearing things like that when it's quiet, sometimes your body takes over and overcompensates for you. And sometimes you have bad dreams because you're so used to the turmoil and the trauma that you've experienced, that your brain is automatically putting this in there so that you can sleep because you develop a threshold to sleep through this stuff. I'm not saying that she had that happen to her. I'm just saying that most of the times when I've had individuals of adults and they've described certain things, the nighttime is always the worst time because that's when usually a lot of things that are harmful to people happen. She did not know what parts of her recollections were dreams and what parts were real. She's still a young woman. She's young. She's not a full grown adult, you know? And also, whenever you've been drinking, you don't hit REM. I don't know if y'all know that, but your body is trying to rid itself of the toxin that's invading it. So if she was drunk, her organs were working nonstop. When you go to sleep and you've been drinking, you don't sleep. Your body is never really completely relaxed, no matter what you think. Unless you're almost in that alcohol poisoning range, then you're 1 centimeter away from death. But you just go to bed and you're drunk, your body's trying to remove the toxins out of it. So your heart's beating, your lungs are going, everything going fast, trying to remove this from your body. So you're not asleep. You may think you are, but you never hit REM. So for her to say, was this a dream or was I really seeing this? It makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. Have you ever been drinking really heavily and then the next day you feel like you never slept? There's that damn dog. Sorry about that, guys. When she woke up that morning, November 13th, 2022, she did not fully understand what was a dream or not. In this interview, she indicated that she thought the person she saw was a fireman. Okay. How come that doesn't make sense to people? How come that always has to mean something nefarious? How come that always has to mean, okay, she thought that the person she saw. It did not say, Dylan stated the person she saw was a fireman. You get what I'm saying? But many times people don't want to read it like that. They want to interject their own wording. That's not what this says. It said she indicated that she thought that the person she saw was a fireman. Well, how? How could you not mistake somebody for being a certain way if you thought you were half out of it, half not? I would bet a lot of young people have dreams of sexy firemen carrying hoses. You know what I mean? I don't know. On December 29, 2022, a statement submitted by law enforcement in support of the arrest warrant used descriptive information from DM's interviews. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built, with bushy eyebrows. So if we take the bushy eyebrows out, if for some reason that's able to be tossed, is Mr. Koberger still not 5'10" or taller? A male? Not very muscular? Especially now. Athletically built? Of course, he still fit the mold. You can shave his eyebrows off when he comes to trial, and he's still 5'10" or taller, male, and not very muscular. So, you see how that sounds? No, I haven't, Leslie. It says, interview on December 30th, 2022. On December 30th, 2022, after the arrest of Mr. Koberger, DM was interviewed by Detective Lake and Detective Tollison. When she learned that an arrest had been made, she found a mugshot of Mr. Koberger online. She found one. When asked if Mr. Koberger was the person that she saw in the house, she did not know if Mr. Koberger was the intruder. She knew that the intruder had looked at her because of the bushy eyebrow. Once again, the eyebrow was saying hello. Let me give you this little piece of information as well, okay? This younger generation has a mentality of not snitching, okay? So whenever you're being interviewed, you're being interrogated, they're going to only tell you enough so that nothing comes back to them. How scared do you think this young woman is, her and Bethany? If they say anything that implicate this man, does he have other people, family, friends, other people that could come and then harm them? Because you live in this world where you think that bad things like that don't happen. Unfortunately, I live in a world where I know that that happens. I know that people get retaliated on. I know that people have people come after them for testifying or quote unquote snitching on them or whatever. So it makes sense that she's only giving enough to implicate, but it's still vague enough that she can kind of minimize it by saying, hey, I was drunk. I really didn't see much. At least she gave you that much, right? At least she gave us that much. So I'm not like one of those people that are downing Dylan or any of that. It says all that she remembered is some bushy eyebrow and all black and some sort of mask. See how vague that is? I mean, this generation does not want to be implicated in anything. So they'll give you very vague things, but they're not going to give you the whole rundown. Because even if she saw him from head to toe, which I know that women are very perceptive, and I'm pretty certain if you were to talk to Dylan off the record and without anybody else around, she would be able to tell you a lot more things than she told these people. Fear is a deterrent to tell everything you know. And most people don't live in that world, but I'm going to tell you the honest truth. That is the world in which reality lives. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people want to state that she was just being coy or that she was being deceptive or this and that and the other. Put yourself in a 20-year-old woman's position who found out that her 4 roommates were just murdered. You don't know who did it. You saw possibly a person that did it, but you don't know where that person is, who they know, who they're connected to, or if they're going to come back to finish the job. How terrifying would that be for you? It would be a hell of a terrifying ordeal. So all the people that go after Dylan and say, well, why didn't she call 911 sooner and all this stuff, and why did she call the frats? Well, you know what? I'm going to call people that are my friends, especially if I have a whole fraternity of guys to take on one intruder, because they're going to get there faster than the freaking police. They're right across the field. The police are 2 minutes away. Who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? So if you're really looking at this logically, and if you have any kind of insight on that side of the world, you're really going to understand that concept. If you can't understand that, that means because you've never actually lived or experienced that side of the coin. We have multiple people claim that they've lived on that side of the coin, but they don't ever talk about that side of the coin. They talk about their side of the coin, but they don't give you the real insight of what could happen if you put certain people in the spotlight that don't want to be in the spotlight. Grand jury testimony. On May 15, 2023, subsequently, DM provided grand jury testimony and was questioned about what the intruder was wearing. She was again uncertain, and the testimony is attached but not quoted. Well, this was interesting because it's worded in a way that we can understand it. It's not broken up and all this. They finally gave us a transcript that is written in English that we can understand. I'm thankful for that. You get what I'm saying? It says November 2022, the third time she saw a figure dressed in black. At the scene, she described the intruder as he was a little bit taller than me. See, that sounds logical. Well, what did he look like? Well, he was a little bit taller than me, and I couldn't really see much of him. But I'm almost positive he was wearing a full black outfit, and he had his mask that was just over his forehead and over his mouth. And he didn't say anything to me, like at all. At the police department, her description of the intruder was similar. 2 times similar. And then I opened the door again, and the guy is right there. And he's maybe my height, a few inches taller, not like skinny, athletic build. He has all black. He's wearing this mask that just covers his forehead and hair, and it goes like around. He was white. That's a description, if you ask me. There was no lights on the stairs. DM was uncertain whether either the kitchen light or the bathroom light was on. Well, we know that the patio lights were on, and it gave an illuminating factor through that area of the house. But that wall covered a lot of it. The kitchen light might have been on, but the twinkle lights in the living room may have been on. And Tom Van gave us an explanation one night when he was on panel that there were so many lights on in the living room. So it was lit up, you know? It was lit up. DM acknowledged that her brain might have been fuzzy due to alcohol and sleeplessness when she saw the intruder. She stated that she had been drinking alcohol just hours prior. Well, let me give you a little facts, okay? It takes an hour and 45 minutes per hour for the liver to filter 1 ounce of alcohol, which is basically a shot of alcohol. So if she was drinking an 11-ounce beer, that means there's 1 ounce of alcohol in that beer and there's 11 ounces of water. So if she drinks that beer, it's going to take her an hour and 45 minutes to detoxify from that one beer. She drinks another beer, that adds another hour and 45 plus however long she waited between the beers. So if she's chugging them, she could be 6 beers in. How long is that going to take for that 1 ounce times 6 times 145 to detoxify out of her body? So people that say, oh, she would have been sober after a couple of hours, you're full of shit, because that's not how the body works. It takes an hour and 45 minutes. They used to say an hour, but they moved it up to an hour and 45 minutes. So an hour and 45 minutes per ounce. So if she was taking shots, she was smoking weed, she was taking pills, who knows what she was doing? It's going to take that amount of time for her liver to detoxify that alcohol. So that's going to be interesting to know how much she drank, because we're going to be able to tell how long it took her to completely sober up. And that's probably why they asked her later on when she was completely sober, and she still stuck to the same story. When asked if she could see the intruder's face, she testified that I wouldn't say I fully remember their face, but I remember seeing his eyebrows. So at some point I probably did see his face and don't remember it. Well, that's understandable. During other interviews, she said He was wearing a mask. So I'm going to stop reading because this just goes on and on and on about that, okay? Here's the case law of the argument. It says, with certain exceptions, every person is competent to be a witness. Incompetency determined by the court occurs when persons whom the court finds are incapable of receiving just impression of the facts about which they are examined or of relating them accurately. Out-of-hall law tends to favor the finding of competency. Under IRE 602, a witness must have sufficient personal knowledge of the matter to which he or she is testifying, which she does. And then there's the case law that goes along with what they found in these cases as a presentation of what they're citing. When considering whether identification by a witness is reliable, the Idaho Supreme Court has applied the Manson-Brager's balancing test, and we went over that a while ago. So I'm not going to read that. Then they give you more case law to support the Mason-Brager's test. And then it breaks down exactly what she said once again. And it says, balancing the Mason-Brager's factors, there is no reliability of the physical characteristic that DM has reported. Mr. Kohberger does not have bushy eyebrows, but the artwork on DM's wall and that which should draw his eyes with eyebrows could be described as bushy, full, or prominent. There is great risk that a trial in front of a jury, her testimony will be viewed as a clear identification of Mr. Kohberger. This would be a false identification and would prejudice the proceedings in a way that must be avoided. So that's what they're asking for. They want that word, bushy, to be extracted from her testimony. So to be admissible, evidence must be relevant. Evidence is relevant if it has any tendency to make a fact more or less probable than it would be without the evidence. And the fact is the consequence in determining the action. And here's some more case law. So they're basically saying that she gave a very minimal description, and the bushy eyebrows were something that they used to hone in on her client. And that's why she wants this extracted. But why she wanted extracted is she says he doesn't have bushy eyebrows. Why is she pushing so hard to have it extracted if she says her client doesn't have bushy eyebrows? She just said that. I just read that, right? I hope you get to feeling better, Bullets. There's a lot going around, so make sure you hydrate really good. Take some elderberry. Get to feeling better. So it goes into case law. So it said, even assuming this court concludes that the descriptive word bushy eyebrows are somehow relevant, whatever minimal probative value they may have, substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice and confusion of the issues. And then it goes into more case law on the unfair prejudice. And she's saying that DM could not recall enough details about the intruder to provide a description to a composite artist. Okay, big deal. Many people cannot give a great description. Look at Richard Allen's description in the Delphi case. They gave a very vague, young-looking description, and then they came back and made it look older with a hat on. I mean, come on. Get off the gas, man. It confuses the issues because bushy eyebrows. Okay, so say he had an eyebrow looking at me. If evidence of the bushy eyebrow is presented to the jury might well believe that Mr. Kohberger is guilty simply because of bushy eyebrows. Okay, but you just said he didn't have them. So make up your mind. Does he have a bushy eyebrows or does he not? You want this thrown out, but yet The jury might find him guilty if they hear if this is kept in. As a consequence, there is a danger that the jury would reach a decision on an improper basis due to evidence that is unfairly prejudicial. For the reasons addressed above, Mr. Koberger respectfully requests the court grant his motion in limine to exclude DM from using the word bushy eyebrows to identify the intruder that she saw and exclude DM from identifying Mr. Koberger based on bushy eyebrows. And there you have that one, folks. Let me put myself in the middle. Where am I? I'm all over the place. How are y'all doing tonight? Precious, welcome. Melissa, how are you doing tonight? Tanel Ray, how are you doing? Let's see. Did I miss anybody? PKC, what's going on? What's going on? I think I got everybody. We got a good chat going on. Y'all have some good discussion going on, it looks like. I know Kim was in here. She, typically unique, was in here a while ago. I don't know if she left or not. Let me get to another document. I want to talk about the car. And I emailed Gray Hughes. Hopefully he emails me back. He did a video that I want him to explain it because he did such a great job at it. I don't want to just show his video. You get what I'm saying? I'd like for him to be up here explaining his video as he sees it, because that means a lot more to me when somebody has an opinion of their own stuff rather than me trying to interpret what they're trying to say. And that's why I'd like to get these people up here to be able to speak on their own behalf. Does that make sense to you guys? Let me see if I can find the car. Now we'll know we talked about that car until we're blue in the face, but now we have pictures. Oh, they don't want to use murder, psychopath, sociopath, because that could prejudice the jury. Okay, what are we going to call him? A suspected unaliver? Is that what they want us to call him? A suspected unaliver? Anne needs to get off the gas, bro. She really does. She needs to get off the gas. I know she's doing what she can for her client, and it's really commendable. It doesn't mean it was a lie. It means that she was not clear-headed. You can take it as meaning it was a lie if you'd like, but I don't take it as a lie. I take it as she was able to give a lot of valid details. She just couldn't really tell you what color the eyebrows were or what shape they were in. I mean, you can take it as you wish, Like I said, we agree to disagree in here. I'm glad you're in here, Charisma. I haven't seen you in a while. I used to know a female named Charisma. I thought that was a one-of-a-kind name. Welcome, by the way. So, I don't really think it was a lie. I just believe that she could give the best she could give in those interviews. You get what I'm saying? Because, to call somebody a liar is, that's kind of harsh unless you know them like that, Can we agree that possibly she wasn't clear on everything she spoke, but she was clear on some of it? You know what I mean? Can we do that? Let's see what CeeLo, welcome. The person responsible, the person who did this, surprisingly, it's the common motion. Welcome. Let's see what Melissa just told me. 12 gauge, think about it. Eyebrows make you look at his eyes. It's subliminal. Well, in the dark, are you going to be able to tell his eyes are green, blue, brown? Have you ever thought maybe he was wearing the black underneath his eyes so you really couldn't see his eyes? You get what I'm saying? You know, the black, I don't even know what that black stuff is called that y'all use, that y'all put under your eyes to make them look blacker. I mean, if I was going in to do this, I would go all out trying to disguise myself. For whatever reason, people think that he just went in there unprepared or over prepared. I mean, I believe that he took the time to really think about this. He just made some mistakes. I mean, if he's the guy, he made some mistakes. You know what I mean? Yeah, eyeliner. I mean, if you have eyeliner under your eyes in the dark, are you going to be able to see your eyes? I'm going to throw that out there for you. Let's talk about this car. So it says, pursuant, this court required to extent possible limit a jury's exposure to inadmissible evidence to state its claim to various filings to report that the FBI forensic examiner Anthony Emmel identified the make and model of this vehicle seen driving in the area of 1122 King Road in the early morning hours of November 13, 2022. The state had referred to this as suspect vehicle 1. The vehicle was not identified from surveillance footage in the area of 1122 King Road. Let me turn the black off so that you can see the car. Because that's what the car would look like with black overtone. I'm getting to the point where I use black reader in everything I do, the dark reader, because the light hurts my eyes for some damn reason. So there's the car, and I showed this the other night. So Gray Hughes did an awesome video today, and I was hoping that he'd email me back to be able to come on and show this, because he did an awesome job. He did a 3D rendition of the car, but let me see if I can remember what he spoke on and kind of give you a little bit of insight. I know he talked about the ridge on the vehicle of the Elantra, and he went and showed the 11 to 16 Elantras. And that ridge has not really changed. You know what I mean? So he did a very good job at identification of this car. And like he said, they picked the worst freaking shot that they could. But the one thing that he identified also is 356.30. He went into Linda Lane and he showed the 356.56, and you could see this white Elantra coming around Queen Road Apartments in 26 seconds after this car is spotted on this cam. So that shows you that Linda Lane, as many times as people have said it was irrelevant, is really not irrelevant after all. I mean, maybe some of the sound and stuff have been articulated or messed with. Wow, thank you, Precious. That is so kind of you. That is so kind of you. That is so kind of you. Thank you. You know, are you talking to me about my glasses? Or are you talking about Melissa? Glitter's in here? I don't see glitter. Where's glitter at? Is that Precious? Precious, are you glitter? What? You messing with me? Got me all confused? Did you change your name? This is the two cards that Melissa was talking about. It said these photos are from the 1112 King Road camera. Special Agent Imel did not make a vehicle identification, was not made from this footage. So basically, their theory is saying, okay, Precious, thank you. What they're saying is, since they didn't get a good view of the car on this camera, according to her, and the only view that they got was a good view was on Ridge Road. I think that was 1125 Ridge Road, if I'm correct. Then there's no way that this car could have been her client's because there's no clear view on it. And this is the email that shows where they got the 1125 Ridge Road screenshot. She said there is no continuous footage linking the vehicle at 1112 King Road footage that from the. I'm going to turn the black reader on. Dark reader. Drives me crazy. I guess because I'm so used to it now. Like, I do all my web pages like this. Even my StreamYard is dark reader. There's no continuous footage linking the vehicle at 1112 King Road footage that from Ridge Road. Additional surveillance footage depicts vehicles, but not identifiable vehicles. So, labeling the cars from various bits of footage as the same vehicle is speculative. Mr. Koberger seeks an order prohibiting the state linking vehicle identification of the make and model of the vehicle in 1112 King Road based on the identification of the car at 1125 Ridge Road and referring to the vehicle of the suspect, vehicle number 1. The speculative nature of testifying that the vehicle is the same vehicle renders it irrelevant to those proceedings, far more unfairly prejudicial than probative. This is also a jury question, and testimony calling the two vehicles the same vehicles invades the province of the jury. Thus, the court should exclude testimony linking the two vehicles as the same. And as we're talking about, you know what she's doing? Wow, why is that view so big? She's doing what she needs to do to protect her client. That's what Anne's doing right now. And that's all she's been doing. And she's been, she's to be commendable for that. Because, I mean, she's just setting, whoa, what are you doing, 12? What she's just setting up is a pellet stuff, you know what I mean? There are two cars right there, but one at 420 is going one way. Why do I have lavender at the bottom? Hold on, guys. I'm having a whole bunch of technical difficulties here. I mean, unless y'all like the lavender, it went from orange to lavender. What's really going on? Yeah, I mean, there's two vehicles, right? One's going toward Queen Road Apartments at 420, while the other one's leaving the area at 420. And somebody said last night when I presented this, they said these were just screenshots. So I don't know if there's actual video of this or they're just screenshots. But there has to be some kind of video or clearer video than this. I mean, tell me this, though. If you were the defense attorney and you could have taken a clearer shot than what you just put in that document. Wouldn't you want to take the most distorted view that you could put, the most questionable view that you could put? Or would you want to put the clearest video footage that you had, the picture that you had? I don't want to put the most distorted view because that would be like, okay, that can't be the car. That's not an Elantra. See, it's not an Elantra. But it was clear enough for an FBI agent to identify it at 11 to 13 and later changed it to an 11 to 16 based on not wanting to shortchange the years when he identified that little ridge didn't change from 11 to 16. So, that's a lot. That's a lot right there. And you're right. The state still needs to prove that. You're right. I agree with you 100% on that. I really do. There's a lot of things, like I've said in other videos. Has both sides been perfect? No. Have they made mistakes? I'm sure they have. But nobody's going to run a perfect trial or leading up to a trial. There's no such thing. So to expect perfection from both sides is really unrealistic. It's unrealistic expectations, And when you have unrealistic expectations, you get unrealistic results and you get a lot of speculation because you're trying to fill in the blanks on stuff that doesn't make sense to you. If that makes sense at all. You get what I'm saying? Well, I mean, if you don't believe that the man is or guilty or possibly guilty, then you're going to see that the state had done a lot of underhanded things. They've messed up documents. They didn't supply the defense with discovery on time. All those things. Is that relevant? It could be or could not be. But you know what? These judges have been overseeing this, and neither one of them have done anything about it. I believe that, and I still believe this, and I will for a long time, that they're just setting up for the appellate courts. That this is just kind of like the first quarter of the game, and they're setting up that, to get to halftime, and then the appellate court's going to take over the third and fourth quarter to really decide the fate of this individual and this crime. So, I understand all of our curiosity and all of our questions and all of our doubts. But at the same time, if you're questioning the state, you should be questioning the defense as well to be fair. If we're really unbiased and we're really trying to be open-minded and fair, then we have a level playing field. We don't just sway one way because we feel that one other side's not doing anything right. I don't believe that it's going to be won or lost. I mean, because if he's innocent, does he really win? Is he really going to win his life back? He loses either way. If he's innocent, this man is not going to have a normal life. No matter what anybody speculates or thinks, this man's not going to have a normal life. And like I said, he's going to have to be looking over his shoulder because there's going to be a lot of people that think that he did it and he got away with it. I wouldn't want to be free in the world. And if he's guilty and they give him the death penalty, it's automatically going to go to the appellate court. So it's not like if he's found guilty and gets the death penalty, they're going to lace him up the next day and go and execute him. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot of appeals before they're exhausted, and it can take 30, 40 years. There's a lot of time in all that. So If he's 30 now and that's 30, 40 years, he'll be in late, if he's incarcerated that long and he makes it that long, of natural causes, because nobody knows how long his natural life expectancy is. You get what I'm saying? People are saying that he looks ill because he hasn't been eating or he's scared or this or that. We don't know what his natural life expectancy is. To say that we know that this man is going to live till he's 80 or 90 is foolish, and that he's wasting away waiting for trial. We don't know that whatever's going on with him hasn't been happening for decades, and it's just catching up to him now in his 30s. We really don't. None of us know how long we have on this earth. And it'd be foolish to make long distance plans that far in advance without realizing that your family history could be most of the people in your family have passed away young. Do you get what I'm saying? I get that, Charisma. I really do. I really do. And I get that too, Tanel. I've seen a lot of cases like that. I've seen a lot of cases like that. But that doesn't mean that all of the cases are rigged, or, they're all set up for failure. It doesn't mean that everything's set up like that. Life is full of checks and balances. For every individual that's been exonerated, there's been probably 10 that have not been caught and are still out there killing. You get what I'm saying? I mean, life has its own way of checking and balancing things. And that's the way I think about things is, when I hear all these individuals talking about the innocent and putting an innocent man to death and all this other stuff, well, you don't know that Mr. Koberger doesn't have a family history of dying young. And if he passes away, it's going to be the state set him up, somebody poisoned him, somebody killed him, blah, 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 blah. Well, you don't know. Nobody knows about anything about this man other than what we've been told. And it's still an enigma. It's still questionable at best. You get what I'm saying? You can't become unfamous. You can't. This man is not going to be able to live a normal life. Even if he gets in a witness protection program, whatever, he does not have that look that people are not going to recognize him. And what's he going to do? What's he going to do for work? How's he going to make a living? He was about to embrace into a life of possibly teaching or being, an expert type individual. If he made it that far through his PhD, see, people assumed that automatically he was going to be a PhD. He might have failed out. None of us know that. But people automatically put, well, he was a PhD. No, he wasn't. He didn't complete. He didn't even really finish the first semester. He was already getting in trouble. But that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is the man is going to have a tough time if he is set free, unless he goes and lives in the hills, unless he stays in Idaho and goes live somewhere where it's very secluded. You get what I'm saying? Trouble is hearsay. You're right. You're right. I'm glad we can have these conversations now because, when you first came into my chat, you and I didn't really hit it off, but I'm glad through time that you felt comfortable coming back and at least giving me a shot to hear you out, to understand that we can agree to disagree and not have to fight about it or call each other names or say that you're right, I'm wrong, you're wrong, I'm right, Because what I'm saying is there's a lot of unknown variables in this case. And Those unknowns don't get spoken on. It gets spoken as it's cut and dry. It's either this or it's this. There's never any of the unknown variables, such as natural balances and checks and balances of life. We don't know what family history he has regarding any kind of illnesses. But if we see him losing weight and looking very frail in the courtroom, it must mean that they're poisoning him, or he's not eating, or they're not feeding him. Wouldn't you be scared to death? Wouldn't you be stressed out to the max? Tell me you wouldn't be stressed out facing a death penalty case. And all your suppression and everything that you thought would go your way is not going your way. I mean, generally, women lose a lot of weight quickly. I could be wrong there, but I've seen a lot of women that get stressed out and they lose a lot of weight quickly. They lose muscle weight, they lose a lot of weight quick. Stress, not eating, not sleeping. Because not sleeping, it interrupts a lot of valuable things regarding your health. So if you're not sleeping well, which I doubt he is, because if you've ever been in a jail or a prison setting, that thing is rocking and rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't just all go and say, okay, it's 9 o'clock. Everybody shut up and go to sleep. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. There's fights. I'm sure even if he's in protective custody, I'm sure he still has to worry about whether a guard's going to try to get him or if something's going to come and possibly, like I said a while ago, fear of the unknown is an awful thing. To say this man is already not imprisoned in his own mind would be foolish to think that he wasn't. I believe that this man was in a prison in his own mind for a lot of years. And if he did commit this crime, it would just more than a crime. I don't want to minimize the lives that were lost, but I also want to say this man was almost committing suicide at that point. If he was foolish enough to get caught, it was almost like him saying, well, you know what? I can't kill myself. I'm going to let other people do it for me. I'm done. And that's just speculating. That's just my own speculation. But I've seen a lot of dead people walking. I have. I've seen a lot of dead people walking. I mean, a lot of these cases that I cover, you can see the escalation of the pattern to get to that point where people just give up. That's why there's suicide by cop. That's why that's a thing. Because people just give up. And I don't want to vilify Brian. I've always said I don't care about it. Not because I don't care about the person. I don't know him. I could sit across the desk from Brian and have a conversation with him and pick his brain. I would love that. That'd be awesome. Because I would be asking some intriguing questions. I wouldn't be asking where's the knife or any of that stuff. I would be asking about the psychological portion of his thought process. Well, tell me what you think about this, or how you feel about this situation, and what led you to believe that this was okay in this setting or that setting. I would get into the deep, intricate portions of his mind because I would like to know the answers to that. No, they don't give you milk and cookies in a movie. No, they don't. It's an awful place for anyone. But it's not so awful that you can't survive it. I've had a lot of family members that have survived it. and I've talked to them about it. And some of the stories that we hear on here from other people about prison is nowhere near the reality. And they were in a Texas prison, so I've heard that Texas and California and Florida and Rikers are the most violent, other than the supermaxes. So, you know, I'm kind of getting tired. I'm coming down off my workout high. But I'm very happy that you guys gave me another shot to be able to come in here, even if you don't agree on a lot of things about the case. You know what? It doesn't mean that we have to be enemies. We don't have to be enemies. But there's some people that have planted themselves in that role and they can't unplant themselves from that role. It would just destroy their whole image if they were able to say, well, you know what? I can almost kind of see that he could have done this based on what they're trying to show, but also on my avenue, I see this part. And I'm only trying to make it make sense for myself. See, I would respect somebody who at least sees both sides, not just one side. There for a long time, we didn't have both sides. We only had one side. Now we have both sides, and people are still arguing about it as if the one side, which is the state, is totally wrong and the defense is totally right. There's a reason why they're having a trial, because neither one of them would ever get to a conclusion, and that's why they need a jury to hear the facts and decide on the outcome. And that's it. But I hope y'all really enjoyed that. Give me a thumbs up, a subscribe, or comment if you watch this on a replay. And I ask of you to please don't unsubscribe until you give my channel a chance. Because I know sometimes I come across very brash and very abrasive, but that's just me. You don't have to not like me because you don't like how I do things. I've done that in my career for 20 plus years. I've been involved with law enforcement and criminals and crimes and all this other stuff, drug deals, cartels, all this stuff for that long. So you have to build a thick skin. You can't be sensitive. So whenever I come across with my opinions, that is just that, my own opinions. And I hope that you understand that. My channel is not for the meek, for sure. There's a lot of things spoken in chat, but this is an adult chat. I've created an adult chat where individuals are able to express themselves in an adult way, and therefore I present to them adult things. I don't try to protect the chat because they're adults. You get what I'm saying? Thank you for that, JB. Thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot. So, if you see this in the future, or Gray Hughes, if you see this, give my chat a try. They won't disrespect you. Come explain your video. Dr. Bricado, my chat will not disrespect you. Come explain the new evil book. Jennifer Coffindaffer, you're more than welcome to come back. And anybody else who is up there, Chris McDonough, come on up. Come to my chat. Come to my channel. Let's talk shop. Because I'd like to learn from all you guys. Because I don't know it all. And I'd like to learn from your experiences. So, with that being said, I hope you and the chat have a wonderful night. And thank you for continuing to come back and spend some time with me. That means a lot. That means a lot. Thank you so much, Sheila. That means a lot, too. That means a lot. Daniel's a good person. Daniel's a good person. And thank you for Daniel for stopping by earlier if you're watching. and I'll have to go finish your live with Jennifer. I'm sure it went well. I was watching a portion of it, but I had to go get to my workout, or I wasn't gonna go. You know, trying to outlive the Grim Reaper. Y'all have a wonderful night. And at this point, I'm gonna ask the maestro to cue the music. I'm gonna play some music while you guys chat a little bit. Once the song is over, I'll end the live. I'm trying to do that more often so y'all can get a little time to get to know each other. And here we go.
I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling, but it's hard because I'm falling. I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling, but it's hard because I'm falling. Falling, 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 started to fall, and where were you? How could I know you were falling too? Grabbing the wind, cutting my skin, but it's hard because I'm falling.